Hello everybody, this is Al Stash and I am here at Cortese Park in Villa Park for the second week of car shows here at Cortese Park, and we've got a little lighter group tonight, but we are glad to have the 25 plus cars that are out here for the weekly Sunday night car show. And if you look around, there's some really awesome cars, including a car in the 1900s. We're going to take a look at that Buick in a second, but over in the background you hear the music from the band, and that's over at Double D's. They have a Chuckapalooza motorcycle event, so there's a lot of activity going on here on a Sunday evening, and we're just glad to be a part of it. Let's take a look at some of the cars.
Well, it's a 1902 Curved Dash Olds, homegrown. We started with a blueprint, the side view of a blueprint with no dimensions on it, no scale. And just dug up some wheels out of a boneyard. I think they're off a Honda or some Japanese bike, and I put Harley tires on it, dug the lamps up at a antique shop, and unscrewed the wick assembly and made a insert so I could put Ford halogen lamps in it, and brought the wires out through one of the vents so I wouldn't take the authenticity off the lamps. And it's got tiller steering, and that leans forward so you can get in. It's got disc brakes off of a motorcycle, hydraulic. That's the clutch, I'm sorry, that's the choke. I put taillights on it because the state won't allow you to do the triangle with a slow-moving vehicle unless it's Amish or tractor or equipment. Then I made a little plate out of masonite, kind of made it look antique, so people know what the year it is. Because in 1902 they really didn't have any license plates. They didn't come out till 1903. So if I grandfather it in.
yeah, I guess. What about the chassis? Where'd you get the chassis?
Oh, built the chassis, built the differential. It's got a Pierce lawn tractor differential in it, 1-inch axles. I had to extend the axles. We put torsion and suspension on it. The original Olds has front to back on the side leaf springs. Okay? And I put didn't have any reverse, so I put a electric winch motor on there.
Okay.
It's got a lot of torque. They have a lot of high RPM, but they're real torquey at the bottom, and you're not going to get a lot of RPM out of a chain reduction. Under the seat, air-cooled engine. There's a lot of heat builds up to under the seat, so I put a fan in there, and it's got a 10 horse Tecumseh engine, and all the relays in here are for the radio control start, radio control reverse, the directionals. There's a directional board in the back that sequences the lights. It's got brake lights, emergency tail lights, left and right turn signals, tail lights, and the headlights.
So, all right, the skill set that's required to do this is
Yeah, welding and woodworking and design. Yeah, I went through mathematically from the RPM on the engine, from that sprocket to the sprocket on the jack shaft, and from the jack shaft to the rear end gear, and then the outside diameter of the wheel, outside of the tire. Okay, you do all the math there. And you figure, that's going to do 17 miles an hour. Well, I had my nephew, he's a state cop, I had him shoot it with radar right on the money. I mean, math does not lie. It was 17 miles an hour maxed out. So that's the best it can do.
Well, that's beautiful. So what would you say the engine of this electric car?
If it was electric, I can drive it home on the winch motor. I've got enough batteries in there to do that. I start the engine with this one, and then if I need a lot of power for the headlights or driving it home, now 3 batteries are running everything.
Okay. So essentially you got a 1902 hybrid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. What a beautiful car.
Thank you.
Excellent work. Excellent work.
Thank you very much.
Okay, one of the people that is here at the car show is Laura Thon from Villa Park. And first of all, Laura, you have in your family 2 cars out here, right?
We do. And we have a 68 Cutlass and a 66 Chevy.
Nice, nice. They're beautiful cars. Your husband brought one out and you brought your family out here. You got the kids behind the camera and everything. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
You having a good time?
We are. Kids
Okay.
are playing and having fun.
Good, good. And it's a beautiful hot day here in Cortese Park. But I wanted to talk to you about something that I'm aware of in your residence here in Villa Park, where you had a flooding problem that just got fixed. Go back and tell us in the beginning what was going on in the flooding.
Well, we've lived in this new house in Villa Park for 4 years now. We've flooded twice in the last 4 years, 6 feet of water each time. So it was a lot of water we were getting. And the last time happened in May of 2013. And because of that, we ended up losing our flood insurance. We lost our homeowners insurance. And so we needed to do something. And we went to the village and they told us about this project that they were doing and giving out grants, helping people get this problem solved. And so we had done it. And now they came last week and finally put our drains in, and fingers crossed everything's been working good, so we're happy that it was done.
Good. Now I know a couple nights ago we had like 3 inches of rain, and what would have happened without this had you got 3 inches of rain in the past?
Without this, my husband would have been outside during the whole entire storm with a sub pump in the middle of our yard, on the side of our yard, draining it out to the street, because otherwise we would flood. So
Tell us about it flooded your basement, right?
it did. We have a split level, so it actually flooded our basement and our sub basement.
And I'm assuming that was a finished basement when you started?
Both of them, yes. Yeah.
So you had not only damage to furniture and property, but also the walls and everything else, right?
Everything, yeah. Everything on both of the 2 basement floors were ruined.
Well, that happens to a lot of people here in Villa Park, unfortunately, a lot of communities, and it's nice that Villa Park had this program for you. What did the program do? I mean, what did it give you?
It provided us, they found a company that was going to come out and put 2 sewers in our yard where our problem was, and put our sub pump would be connected to these drains along with some of our window spout drains, and then making it so that our neighbor's yard and our yard would go into the drain instead of our house. So they provided us with that, and they also paid 50% of the project, which is as costly, it's a very costly project, so them doing that helped us out a lot, because it was probably something we wouldn't have been able to do on our own.
Yeah, and I understand that it was in the range of like $7,000, $7,500 for the project that you split with the Village of Villa Park. But you've been having this problem for a while, right?
Since we moved in. Yeah, it happened actually 3 months after we moved in was our first flood, where we lost everything because we had just moved in. So ever since we've moved in, we've had this ongoing issue. Almost every storm that's bad, if it's a bad storm, we're getting water somewhere in our house, whether it's only an inch or 2, or like the 2 times we had 6 feet of water. So
that's terrible. I can't imagine what that would be like. But also, as the project was being done, it took some time before they actually came out and did this work, right?
It did. I believe we were one of the first people to do this program, so it did take us about a year and a few months. We got approved last year on last year's budget, and I think they had to work out some of the tweaks, but it did take a little bit of time. They did just complete it about a week ago, but as far as the project getting done, it only took a day to get done.
When they started the work.
When they actually started the work, it was very, very fast, so I am grateful for that. I mean, it took a little bit of time to get it going, but again, we were the first group of people to do this, I believe, so.
Yeah, and as we were talking about before, it may have been where they had to bring multiple people together to get the price down so that they can get the jobs done for maybe 6 or 8 people, right?
Correct, they did. They needed to wait to see what people wanted to do it, what people had the money to do it right now, you know, and then as soon as they got a group of us together, they had 3 different people come out, and we took the best, you know, company to do it at the cheapest price that they put us together, so.
Excellent, excellent. Well, the band's going to get going again over at Double D's. I hear motorcycles revving up, and we got more cars coming in, so thanks for coming out, first of all, and I'm glad everything worked out with your house.
I am too, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Laura. So this car show will continue through September 28th, all the way through the month of September, every Sunday from 4 to 8 p.m. And the only week that will stop is September 7th, which is the Sunday of the Oktoberfest. So we're not going to block that. Maybe next year we'll be big and strong enough to do that, but not this year. I want to thank everybody that's involved with this. Cheryl, Billy, Ed, and Nat from Olive Street, who did a great job with our poster. We really appreciate that. And of course the troop from the VFW doing hot dogs and pop and food for us. And of course all of the restaurants here in the Villa Avenue Business District are available for people to get their food and popcorn at a little coffee shop on the prairie. I'm Al Stash reporting from Cortese Park. See you here next Sunday.